What's going on, guys? Hope you guys had a good weekend. Obviously, not around the globe, people hadn't, and we're just kind of discuss that. I gave a little bit of notice that we'd be doing a live tonight. So anyhow, we'll jump to it. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Go ahead and hit me with a thumbs up, like button if you're watching. Help out with the algorithm, comment, all those sort of things. So obviously, the hot topic of the world today is the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan, um, and obviously Kabul today. So, um, kind of talk about how this came through over the weekend. From what we heard, is that Thursday, they had taken some strategic cities. They had seized some strategic cities, um, but generally around Afghanistan, it was life as usual. Shop owners, people eating ice cream, people out in the cities walking around, and then Friday there was word that the Taliban may be coming, and so people kind of thought it was like a rumor, what have you. They weren't certain that it was true. It was just like scuttlebutt. And so then by Saturday, you know, it's like a ghost town. A lot of shops are closed. People are withdrawing all their money out of the bank, things like that. People are leaving, and the next thing you know is Taliban shows up on motorcycles, dirt bikes, and things like that. And there was no fighting. They just like handed over the Kabul to them. Hey, Bear Wilkie, thank you. Just hand it over to them. And you might say, why? Why was there no fighting? Why was there no defending? We've been training the Afghan army for 20 years. Well, the problem is there's just like anywhere else in the world, corruption. These high level military commanders are getting paid, especially places stricken by poverty. You look in Mexico, things like that, where the cartel run rampant. Everybody wants to join the cartel because cartel's got money. So what we have is a lot of guys, poor places, a lot of people that were thrown into the Afghan military. Not everybody's heart was in the right place, and they are for the highest bidder. And it's not like that's something we didn't know. We knew that throughout the years that not everybody that was in Afghan army was good to go. And you've heard guys over the years doing documentaries discussing that. So obviously Prince Ghani left, and he said he'd never flee. Well, he took off, and pretty much it fell. And so now the Taliban has essentially taken over most all of it. I think just maybe a few areas they haven't. But the thing is now Sharia law will be put in place. And could you imagine, like 18-year-olds and below, or 20-year-olds and below, that grew up not in a more free environment, because they weren't under Sharia law and all these sort of things. Women now can't go outside without being fully covered. They can't go out without a man, stuff like that. So imagine you living your entire life and you heard stories about how things were once upon a time, but now you're like thrust back into it, right? So then we got, that's obviously sad, because people talk about oppression here in the United States. You don't know what oppression is here. I can promise there's nobody here that knows what oppression is. If you're saying you know what oppression is, go ahead and take your behind to Afghanistan, and then let me know in about 2 weeks what oppression is. Okay. It's kind of like a while back I did a video talking about Biden flying the LGBT flag and BLM flag over the U.S. embassies. Well, he was flying it over the embassy in Kabul. Well, what's going to happen to LGBT people now that the Sharia law, people that identify in the LGBT community, now that Sharia law is there, what's going to happen to them? And pretty much anybody that assistant, translators and things like that. I heard 7 were murdered in front of their homes on Thursday. So translators that were helping the American military. So you want to talk about depression, go there and check that out. Then let me know how that goes. And before, when I always say that comment, and people get all flared up about it. I deal with depression. You're white. You don't know. No, go over there and see what it's like. We know what depression's like. It ain't here. Um, so anyway, the other thing is that I guess what's so disheartening. We've lost friends. We've Americans, allies. You know, Space Tour. Thank you. Um, we're coming up on the 20-year anniversary. 20 years ago, we wiped them out of power very quickly. And now 20 years later, they're back in power. Right. A lot of Americans lost limbs, uh, lost lives, young kids, 18, 19-year-olds. People are living. Think about all our friends that have committed suicide because of the demons that they live with, and all because Joe Biden's horrible, uh, just turning it over to the Taliban. And but what's huge on the radar today is that you're a domestic terrorist now. He's not worried about those guys over there. Not that he just gave $83 billion worth of gear and training to the Taliban. We've been training for 20 years, outfitting them with the Afghan army with the latest and greatest military equipment. They've got drones, everything. The weapons you can't have. You can't have these weapons, but we'll let the Taliban have them. Okay. My friend today, Adam Tickner, on Instagram, he had posted a video talking about if you lost your night vision, your night vision goggle in the Marines, you'd get freaking court-martialed. And I told him, on the post that a guy in my unit lost his bayonet. I kid you not. I was a young Marine. We were out on a field training exercise. Dude lost his bayonet. For 3 days. They shut down. They shut down training. Like we were done training. We were canvassing the area looking for this bayonet. Got strip search. A couple days in a row. Had to dump our packs, all our gear, looking for this bayonet. Couldn't find it. They filled NJP. If you know what that means it's like it's non-judicial punishment. You're getting punished, like kind of like going to court. Well, like a misdemeanor, I guess you'd say. Anyway, dude got a field NJP, reduced rank, restriction, the whole nine. They threw him to the wolves for losing his bayonet, and we just lost all this $83 billion worth of equipment, right? And every country has evacuated their embassies except for Russia. I think the UN's still there, and I think China is actually said that they are accepting. I'm going to get the exact verbiage really quickly. China says Taliban's expected to play an important peace role, and then that China ties to the Taliban to warm ahead of U.S. leaving Afghanistan. So they're actually making allies with the Taliban, and they are supporting the Taliban there. So that's no surprise. It's a slap you in the face. This is how I've been talking about. A lot of guys are so focused on the checkers. Some guys are playing chess, right? This is 3-dimensional chess they're playing, and the people are just so they're focused on such dumb things, where the big picture. I mean, things are getting very serious. This is definitely a strategic move with China, right? Yeah, at least Biden doesn't send those mean tweets, right? So then we got to look at, we got open borders, the South, and I don't know if you remember, 7 or 8 months ago, there was a couple terrorists that came through the southern border, like that were on the watch list, that came through there. So that's what's going on. As far as, let me see if there's anything else pertaining to that before I jump to the next thing. If not, I'll just come back to it. I guess the China deal, making allies with them, is pretty huge. Guys, give me a thumbs up. We got all these people watching, and not enough likes. I want to see as many likes as I see as people watching. Um, so then let's talk about the biggest news today: domestic terrorists. The Department of Homeland Security came out with a memo stating that the domestic terrorists, and let me get it exactly, because people always say that people try to say when they're arguing with you, argue your point. They try to say, "Oh, that's not what it says." Well, I'll read it directly from the Department of Homeland Security. Make it easy. This is a national terrorism threat to the U.S. homeland, and this is in regards to 9/11 20-year anniversary. They don't name ISIS or Muslim extremists. They don't name it. They name. Thank you, Bernard. Um, they name regular folks. You know, quote unquote patriots. Okay, so yeah, let me say this real quick. Bernard, thank you for your super chat first off, but he said that he played a significant role in getting two of the translators from his unit 10 years ago here. Great, great, fantastic. So yeah, so the terrorism threat. So what they're saying is um, that anybody who basically violent extremist narratives, and let me just kind of go down the list of kind of like what they're naming, right? Essentially, they're saying that the types of Americans considered potential terrorists in official government documents. They're talking about anyone that talks about individual liberties. They're talking about those that advocate for states' rights, that want to make the world a better place. The colonists who freed themselves from the British rule. Basically, anyone that talks about the founding fathers, um, that intolerance towards other religions, those that take action to fight against the exploitation of the environment. Um, they're saying that the patriot movement, quote unquote, um, against open borders, anyone who is engaged in conspiracy theories, yeah, anyone that's concerned about FEMA camps, anyone who fears impending gun control. I mean, the militia movements, anyone that visits extremist websites and blogs. I'm sure we're on it. Like Leonard says, we're extremists. Um, Militia or unorganized militia, um, anti-UN. Um, again, the conspiracy theory stuff. Anyone who thinks they need to be prepared for attack by either participating in military, paramilitary operations, training, or survivalism. So, if you do any type of training for survivalism, tactical training, because you're in fear that something could go wrong, like it never does, Katrina or Texas. I mean, anything. I mean, active shooters. I mean, anything that if you want to train to defend yourself, where you're not relying on someone else for your personal safety, right? Um, Anti-abortion. What do we have here? Anti-nuclear families. Anyway, so a lot of these things here, but essentially it goes on to say that from the remainder of 2021 that they should be very careful. Yeah, anybody who says somebody just said Trump won. Anybody who says that is definitely on the list. They said it says that or that are against the election outcome. So anyway, during the 2021, and they specifically state anyone who's against rationale of public health restrictions based on the pandemic. Right. So they're going ahead and tell you that they're planning on doing some more restrictions. They're telling us that now in this message, that you're basically a domestic violent extremist. Then they bring up the 9/11, but they don't really say that it's like, Al Qaeda or anything. They say domestic terrorism, more of that. Domestic violent extremist attacks linked to houses of worship, crowded commercial gatherings, blah, 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 blah. Schools, things like, or reopening schools that engage in ideological objectives against reopening institutions, including schools, da da da. So basically anything against the pandemic restrictions. That's pretty much what they're saying. So basically any kind of protest you do against pandemic restrictions, you're going to be labeled a domestic terrorist. Okay. Um, Election fraud, that's labeled here. Conspiracy theories against perceived election fraud and reinstatement of the previous president. Um, Anything related to the COVID cases. Um, and you can look at all this yourself. I'll actually put the link in this video when I get done talking about all this. So anyway, this should terrify you, right? This thing says calls against violence against um, people of Asian descent. No one's doing that. Literally, no one's doing that. I've not seen no one do that. It says that against Russia, China, and conspiracy theories based on Russia, China, and Iranian media, or I'm sorry, um, the hacking conspiracy theories. We know that's to be true. We know that's true. That's not a lie. And then they're talking about against the sheep's milk, which so if you're opposed to sheep's milk, you're a domestic terrorist. Thanks, Dirty Dan. He says that he can't believe France was protesting. No, people are protesting here too, just in different places because France is a different setup than we are. It was done on state levels. So yeah, I mean, you can just go through this. Basically, if you're a patriot, you wear a shirt like anyone we sell, you are an extremist, right? So that's where we're at. And it's disgusting to me, especially after what's going on in the world. Biden is nowhere to be found. He's vanished. He's on vacation somewhere. You just slapped every veteran that served in the face, lost lives, lost buddies, lost fingers, lost legs, and just handing things back over to Taliban. Now, the thing is, the American military is the strongest military on the planet, so we say. And this will I'll say America was not allowed to. Americans were not allowed to win the war. It's not that we could not win the war. It's that we were not allowed to. Obviously, with bureaucracies and politics and everything like that, it was not allowed. But the thing is that Taliban outlasted. And why is that important to think about? It's because the fact is that you know that a new president can come in 4 years. So all Taliban had to do was wait till the politics change, the policy change. So they got a week till America got a weak leader because we're only as strong as our leader, right? The military can only do so much if the leaders are weak. They're so focused on things like critical race theory and nonsense in the military and putting women and men together in combat units than actually trying to win wars. So that's where we are. So, but what the rest of the world sees is that America lost two guys without even air support. So guys that run around in leather sandals, so and 50-year-old Soviet weapons, 60-year-old Soviet weapons. So America can be outlasted and can be defeated per se. Joe Biden said a few months ago that America, you couldn't defeat America unless you had nukes um, and F-15s. Well, doesn't look that way today, does it? At least in Kabul. And obviously now I think there's up to 6,000 troops are going back. Great. That's fantastic. All right, guys. So that was thanks, Irish Rebel. Appreciate you. Um, we can chit chat a little bit more. I'm about to tie it up. Obviously, I'm upset, like probably a lot of you are today, and just it's just ridiculous how the country's being America's being weaponized against its own citizens. Just kind of like everything else, and all of us are probably on some kind of list now. We're extremists. I think like most of you, all I want is my freedom, my civil liberties. I want it for my children, more so for my children than anything else. Um, a lot of people do things for certain ideologies and belief systems. I just know that I won't be around to protect my children forever. So I don't want them to live in some kind of messed up world, right? Yeah, you're probably on that list if you're watching me. You know, like Leonard said, we're extremists. All right, guys. So I wasn't going to announce this today. I announced it to the tribe. So if you're with the tribe, you've already seen this. I was going to give it a few more days, but I'll go ahead and do it now. Um, we've been working on some affordable knives for quite a while. I think 2 years now, and a lot of you guys we've been selling knives for over the years, but very very high end stuff, and we've been trying to, and we still sell some high end stuff or majority high end stuff, but we try to make more affordable products. Obviously, it takes time to develop those things, and you have to buy in much larger quantity to get things in a reasonable cost. So anyway, so it's so hard to get a reasonable folding knife. So we actually had some made, and this is the Harsos. So let me see if I can get it to focus. Maybe, maybe not. If if it won't focus, you can actually go. Thanks, Keith Jenkins. If it will not focus, you can go to the website and see it. But this is the Harsos. It's spelled like Harkos, but it's Harsos. It's a Hungarian for combat or warrior, and it's a very stabby EDC knife. It has a swedge on top, so for stabbing, cutting things open. Obviously, this is more so for a defensive type knife capability. It's D2 steel, which is a good steel for the price. Pocket clip. It's a flipper, so it pops open very fast, like that right there. It doesn't have a little thumb stub. We wanted to make it as clean as possible. So this is the black stonewash finish. G10 handles, liner lock, so it locks here. You just close that to open it. We also have another color. This is the introductory color. We're not gonna. This is where we're gonna keep the black one as a main, but this is just one we did for the introductory. It's a coyote brown and satin steel. You can see it there if it'll focus. So yeah, coyote tan, satin steel, but that's it. These things are $50. Get them while they last, but very quick pop out. Smart Life, thank you. Yeah. So what Smart Life is saying is that yeah, what he's saying I don't think anyone realizes the gravity of the situation in the Middle East now has the potential to be the starting block of a global war. That's what I'm alluding to. I really think this is where we're heading to, is a global war because of this. China's going to use this, Russia obviously allies, and they're going to make a play. Some of you guys are funny. Biden is the president of China. Well, I tell you what, I do enjoy doing lives with you guys. I know some people hate lives because there's chit chatting amongst viewers. It gets. I mean, when we film videos, it does. It's me and my cameraman Jay. We're filming, and it's alone, so it's definitely cool to have interaction with people. And a lot of you guys are really funny, so I enjoy a lot of your commentary. So the knives are made of a G10. Yeah, G10. So look, guys, I want to say this too. I got an argument earlier today with a guy I knew. This is the thing, like, I've known lots of people in the industry and whatnot for the past few years. This is, obviously making Black Scout. A lot of veterans, and current military guys, spend a lot of time talking to those people because I always try to take care of, veterans or, work with veterans and things like that. But man, you really, really, really have to be careful before you go thanking somebody for their service. I'm telling you that right now because they could be a damn commie. I'm telling you right now, a socialist, damn commie. Be careful. This dude that I knew, high-ranking officer, turned out to be a damn commie today. I was talking to him, and sure enough, commie. So you gotta be very careful, guys. Just scrolling through some of your comments real quick. Yeah, be careful, guys, before you go running off and thanking somebody for their service, man. Yeah, so the knives are on blackscoutsraw.com. I'll actually put the link. I'll put the link in the video and then the video here so you can go snatch them up. Be sure to go snatch them up because they could sell out. Space Lord, thank you. No, not funny. You're funny like you got good jokes. A lot of you guys are you guys should be comedians. Why is the camera not wanting to pick up on this one? There we go. All right, guys. Well, I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed hanging out with you guys tonight. Really just want to, talk this kind of state of affairs right now with the world, and probably we'll keep up. Thank you, Shannon Marie. Appreciate you. And we'll probably, depending on how the situation goes over the next few days, we may have to do more lives like this so we can do the commentary. We want to, Jamie, I mean, commie as in communist, like socialist communism, those sort of things. Slanted Eye Patriot, thank you. Yeah, but how things change. There was one video. Yeah, there's another video I'm going to do. It'll put me on the list for sure. But there's some very scary things as far as the next restrictions I was talking about. As far as various things, if you hadn't put them together, like if you hadn't got your yarn out on your board with all the photos and like linking them across, you hadn't figured this out yet. But I'm about positive some severe kind of lockdowns are coming, and they're probably going to use like Delta or Lambda, COOF or this or whatever. So be very aware. I'm going to put that together on a video for you, probably either tomorrow or Tuesday. You'll see that, and we'll talk about those sort of things. So it's scary. It's scary. I think bad days are coming. Make sure you have food, your firearms, all that kind of stuff, all them things that they say not to do, that the DHS says not to do that. Anyhow, guys, be prepared. Be ready to defend your family, protect your family, and have your food stores, all those sort of things. Medical. Yeah, false flag. That's what I wanted to say. False flag. That's what's going to happen with all this mess that the Department of Homeland Security saying. Definitely look for a false flag to come, because really, there's nobody out here. These people they're talking about, they don't exist. There's nobody doing these things. When you look at January 6th, like, I mean, that's the most peaceful insurrection that's ever happened probably in the history, you know. All right, guys. Yeah, be careful. Don't be pulled into false flags. They'll get you. Somebody will email you. Somebody will meet you at the shooting range. Say he'll offer you ammo. Don't listen to that kind of stuff. Don't be pulled in any of those sort of things. Anyhow, guys, hope you have a great night. If you didn't see it tonight, you'll probably see it on the way to work tomorrow. Hope you have a great day at your job. Hope you had a great weekend. And hit me a thumbs up real quick. Shoot those likes up. And anyhow, I appreciate it, guys. Take care. Go buy these knives. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care.